what that really meant in terms of knowledge production and how do you repurpose it. That's really where this design thinking thing I want to talk about comes from. This is just a little quick slide to show you some of the projects we've done kind of across the state. It's an older slide, and I could add more. Temple 1 is an adaptive reuse project we've been working on for a number of years in Henderson, Kentucky. It's a retired coal-fired plant that we've been working on doing, looking at the site, looking at the building, trying to repurpose it. HBeer is a project I'm going to show in some detail. Houseboat to energy efficient residences. Fly ash, I showed that already, solar decathlon. So we've been trying to work all over the state. These are just some more fly ash design products. Have you guys seen any of these? No. These are we did a seminar. Students did. These were all for kind of like outdoor lawn implements, planters, things like that. They're all made from. Probably, do you remember? This is like 90. Well, I mean, this is a lot of fly ash. It's like 94, 5, 6. No, what am I saying? There's Mr. Fly Ash himself right there.
70% fly ash, and the rest of it is actually all bottom ash from the hospital oil.
So it's mostly fly ash, or if not all fly ash. One of the things that we found early on, it was great working with CAER, is that you guys know, you're researchers. You pour vials and bottles and you stir them around and you take down numbers, and we don't understand that. But what we can do is make really cool stuff out of the things that you mix up in those buckets and bottles. And so we said, Rocky, this fly ash stuff is pretty cool. I think we can make some stuff with it. We said, okay, let's try it. So we made these. And we made, students like to do kind of weird things too, like this, which is kind of it's a little dangerous. It's a planter. It tips over. Shoes, vases, fly ash vases with beautiful flowers in them. But they turn out. This is an interesting little coffee table that you plant. That you put water and moss, I think, grows in it. So it's other planters. Now, part of this is just to say that you can make beautiful things out of this material, but also for us it had to do with really trying to begin to find ways to work with CAER. These are other little polished vases. All of these are designed. They're designed with a digital software, with the use of Maya, free animation software, and then they're CNC milled, create a form, and then we pour them in molds, and then we pop them out. Now, this is actually one of the first projects that I was involved with when I arrived with the College of Engineering. Some of you may, I don't know if any of you worked on this, but the Department of Energy every 2 years has a call for schools, and this has become a global thing, schools make applications to participate in this. Then they give you some money. You have to raise a lot of money, and then you have to design, build, and transport an off-the-grid house of about 1,000 square feet, maybe a little more, to the mall in D.C. We did this with engineering, agriculture, communications, and did rather well, given that we had never done it before. I taught at a couple of schools, Michigan in particular, that has done it a couple of times, and once you do it a couple of times, you get better at it. Virginia Tech has done it a number of times, and they have won. And so we did quite well. We placed 9th overall out of 20, which is not bad for that we never did it. We did really well in the People's Choice Award, though. Do you know why? Could you guess why? It's a total Kentucky story. We placed so well because John Calipari has about 5 billion people on his Twitter site. And somehow we convinced him to tweet that they should vote. The People's Choice Award, you just vote online. So we somehow convinced him to tweet that they should vote for us, and we just were like flooded. I don't know who won. I mean, I don't know who has more, like, it must have been Lady Gaga or something. Has more Twitter stuff than Calipari. Anyway, we did quite well with that. Honorable mention. These are just some little exhibit we did of that project. Just wooden models. It turned out to be really a beautiful project, a real team project. It took 2 years to work through this thing. Our students worked very hard. All the students worked very hard. And it ended up on Mall BC, and we showed it. Now, one of the first meetings I had with Rodney Andrews when after we concluded this was we met with Rodney, and Rodney and I sat down in front of my desk, and Rodney said, like, "Okay, this is a cool place. It's really, but this is like $1 million house." I think it was close. It's about $850,000.
I think they used the first closet.
Yeah. Rodney said, "We have an $8 closet. What are we going to do with it?" And we said, and this is how we knew that we were going to be able to work together. We both at the same time thought house traders. Isn't that the first thing you think when you see a $1 million house? Like house traders. It didn't really work that way. But what we thought is, how can you look? You have 5 colleges spending 2 years conducting research, working together, learning a whole lot of new techniques, producing amazing work, and then you make this stunningly beautiful building. It gets places like we do well. What do you do with it? Well, we put it in front of the main building. It was great, and I think it was the information building for the World Equestrian Games. But for the state of Kentucky, we thought, there has to be more. There has to be a way to repurpose all this knowledge that produces. So we first thought house traders, and then we got hooked up with this company called the Kentucky Highlands Investment Corporation. They are an investment company in London, Kentucky, and they invest in a, let's say, 25-county area around London. And their interest is job creation. So they will invest in companies that generate jobs. And we started to talk to them, and they said, we have an industry in and around Cumberland Lake that has been decimated by the economy. By this time, we're 2008, 2009. The houseboat industry. And you may or may not know there are about, 15, 16, 18 houseboat factories that were down there, and when it got hit by the 2008, they closed down a lot of those. And you have the very highly skilled workers, and it's an industry, very, 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 very highly skilled. These guys were making custom boats, $2, $3, $4 million bucks, really, really beautiful boats, but it got shut down. So you have all these people out of work. So Highlands was interested in finding a way to put those people back to work. We started to brainstorm and think about this. Here's a picture of brainstorming. Drinking hard. Now, what we decided to do was not to make house traders, which you can't compete with. You can't compete with house traders. They're too cheap. People can buy them like cars, and the financing cannot. We couldn't beat that. So, but we thought modular housing may be a possibility. And Highlands was interested not only in putting industry back to work, but they also were very interested in creating units where people wouldn't have their energy turned off. You have a lot of people living in house traders. In fact, just behind Kentucky Highlands headquarters in London, there's a trailer park right there. And this is very typical. You have people living in a trailer park paying maybe $300 a month to rent, and in the wintertime, $600, $700 for electricity. And then through the year, they can't pay for them. They get them turned off, and they turn back on. It's like $1,500, $2,000. So Highlands was interested in finding a way to help those people. So we had discussions with Highlands, and then we also talked with the NRECA. Is that right, Ronnie? Yes. National Rural Electrification Cooperative Association. There aren't many deans in College of Design that can say that. We talked with them, and their interest, you may know, these are rural power cooperatives. The users are technically